So the next update is obviously coming out way sooner than people think, and if you don't already know that what I'm about to show you right now, you're genuinely going to regret it. So obviously, because between the new boss that has been teased and the Christmas event being fully removed, there are multiple mechanics that you probably are going to want to take advantage of before they're patched. This is pretty much like your last warning. So obviously in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a glitched weapon that has a secret trait, a bunch of methods you can do to farm the Christmas event to make sure you get the best items out of it, one of the best money methods, and armor and weapon recipes. So make sure you do stick till the end of the video because we're also going to have a 50 race reroll giveaway. So first, obviously, let's talk about why this matters. So the Forge update, pretty much they always drop on the weekends, and this update is not going to pretty much be like a major update, but it is not going to be a small update you want to miss out on. So firstly, as we already know, the Christmas shop is going to be removed. As you can see, it is going to be removed in 22 hours. And as of recording this,
and today might just be your lucky day, but if you're watching this video within 1 week of it coming out, then you can enter into my 50 race reroll giveaway, where I'm giving away any game pass you want or 50 race rerolls. And all you got to do to enter into the video is comment your Roblox username down below, leave a like, and hype this video, and that'll go ahead and enter you into the giveaway.
it is 2 p.m. on, the day prior to recording this. So this is going to be roughly 10-ish hours by the time you're probably watching this. And alongside this, we also had teasers to a whole new forging mechanic that they're adding and potentially a new boss. Now, obviously, if you haven't seen the leaks, there's a boss that kind of looks like a kraken or a sea monster, meaning it'll have not only super high HP, but it'll have a ton of insane powers and abilities. And this will probably, ruin any mid-game player. So you're going to want to make sure that you get most overpowered weapons you can right now. So I already showed this in a previous video, but there is a glitched weapon, and this has an insane broken passive that pretty much makes your weapon instantly and infinitely freeze and stun NPCs that you're fighting. So to get this weapon, it's actually super simple, but firstly, we're just going to have to head on over to the Frost or the Forgotten Kingdom to craft this because this is one of the gauntlet recipes. Now you're going to come over and you're going to craft simply this. Now, if you do not have the stuff I'm using, you can obviously mix and match, but firstly, you're going to want to use 3 Golem Heart or 3 Yeti Heart. You can use either one. Yeti Heart obviously is a lower multiplier and more easy to get, but I would use the Golem Heart just because it is the best and applies yet another trait. Then you're going to use 3 Etherealite. You can swap the Etherealite out for Crimsonite or something else. And then we're going to do 3 Void Stars. Actually 2 Etherealite, my bad. And then you're going to throw in 1 Eyesight. Now, why you might be confused by 1 Eyesight is this is where the bug takes place. So inside of the game, obviously, when you are forging, you have to evolve. The recipe has to have at least 30% or 33%, or, just a third of the recipe has to have the ores that you're using to apply the trait fully. Now, obviously, it can apply the trait, but you have to have at least a third of the recipe to apply the trait. Now, what makes this recipe super broken is it's the perfect weapon to where 1 Eyesight actually is considered to be the thing. But as you can see right here, this is one that hasn't been fully pushed to the limits. This is a Savage Claw. And as you can see, it freezes enemies for 0.3 seconds, which obviously isn't a lot, but we'll go over that, and has a 30.75% chance to hit and a 1.8 second cooldown. Now, this is where the glitch takes place because, as you might think, 1.8 second cooldown is not that long. That's actually very short because you would be right. The average cooldown, if you're using Eyesight, as you can see right here, is 18 seconds, not 1.8, meaning when you're using this, it is literally 10 times faster than it should be. Now, obviously, it's 10 times faster, but you might say, oh, it doesn't hit that fast, or it doesn't have, that high of a chance to hit, and it only freezes for 0.3 seconds, and you'd be right. But if you use this specific setup, you can actually get it to not only hit for 3 seconds, but have a stupid high chance of being applied. So firstly, what we're going to do is once you have crafted this, you're actually going to need only 2 things. Firstly, a decent amount of essence to upgrade it to level 6. You can obviously use legendary essence to get it up to have 3 runes equipable, but level 6 is what we're going to settle at because since it's a Void Star, it's a legendary category since that is the main ore we used, meaning we can upgrade this without any legendary essence to equip 2 runes. Now, obviously, you can use any ones you want. I would personally recommend getting Frostback 2 runes. Obviously, these are from the boss, But there is a very good reason for this. Obviously, once you are using level 2 runes, they have a lot of different passives on them, especially the Frostspect rune, which is what we're going to be using. And the reason for this is when you use the Frostspect rune, it actually overwrites the percentage, as you can see, and the ability to be the rune applied one, but it actually keeps the really low cooldown, meaning when I use this, not only is it going to be dealing roughly 300 damage per second or almost 400 damage per second since we upgraded it, but it's also going to have a 1.8-second cooldown and almost have a 50% chance to freeze enemies. Now, obviously, alongside this, it also has a bunch of other traits like this: 83% increase to critical chance, another increase to attack speed, increase to damage, and an increase to critical damage. But alongside all of this, it has this insane ice ability. Now, you can get the eyesight or the Frostspect rune pretty much from killing any of the spiders inside of the Frostspire expanse. They pretty much all have a decent chance of dropping it. Most notably the crystal spider, as these are super easy to kill and, as you see, have a 0 or a 1 out of 12 chance to drop it. But this is by far one of the best recipes, and you need to use this because it's definitely going to get patched. Now, the next thing is this is your last chance to do the Christmas event, and you want to make sure you do this because this is the best things you can get from it. Now, obviously, coming back to the Frostspire Expanse, we're just going to come on over to Santa right here, and there are a few items I would really say you should get. So firstly, I would not say to get the Christmas pickaxe. This is kind of a waste considering you can get a pickaxe such as the dragon head one like this, which is by far way better and overall way easier to get because the time it takes to get the amount of tickets completely outweighs the time it takes to get the amount of money. So what I would recommend, you have to, first off, you have to get this, but you need to totally get the candy cane and Hell Slayer recipe. Both of these ones right here. The reason for this is they are super, super overpowered, especially the Hell Slayer. The Hell Slayer is by far one of the best weapons in the game. As you can see by this one I have is a Gargantuan Hell Slayer. It's not purely made out of Gargantuan, obviously, but it is majority Gargantuan. As you can see, it's not even upgraded. It's only level 6. It can get to 9, and it does 600 damage. Now, alongside this, it has all of the other traits from it, but it is super, super overpowered. And that's not even just because it's the Gargantuan, it's just the Hell Slayer in general is a very, very strong weapon. What used to be considered the best was the Chaos, having a pretty fast attack rate, decent stud range, and a good DPS. The Hell Slayer is just all the more better, so it is definitely way better of a weapon to get. But alongside this, it only takes 6 ore to get it, so you can use pretty much any weapon in order to get this. Obviously, the candy cane is a bit slept on considering it's more common, and in general, I feel like the stats aren't as good. Obviously, as you can see, it does have a faster attack rate and a lower DPS, but in general, it isn't that bad of a weapon and is still pretty decent. Now, obviously, let's talk money, because the worst thing you can do right now going into a major update is going into it broke. So because of this, right now, the most consistent method you can do is these few things. So firstly, if you are in the third island, you can farm at dense sections of mobs, especially if you farm over to this right side right here. There's going to be consistently a lot of either elite orcs or common orc, and also these crystal golems, all of which will be just spawning super consistently, which you can obviously kill super consistently since pretty much all of them can be parried super easily. But you can farm all these for a ton of superior and epic essence. Now, obviously, alongside this, another very good thing you can do is called recycling. At least I call it that, But you'll take all of the extra ore you have, especially in bulk, and you'll take it and you'll craft specifically heavy armor. Now, the reason for heavy armor is it has a very high base sell value. As you can see, it has a base sell value of 1,300, almost 1,400, and this applies to all of them, meaning if you take pretty much any ore that you have an excess amount of, for example, I have an excess amount of Void Stars and just extra stuff like Velshire and Mithril, you can easily throw all this stuff together and make a very overpowered chestplate that you don't even have to use, but you can just go ahead and sell. But as far as money goes, the last thing we're going to be looking at is the Insane League. So obviously, if we go to the Discord server, you can see this video right here of this really cool looking boss. And my first thought was this just looks like a new race with a pickaxe and some cool design. But what started to get me is obviously they're not going to implement a new race or a pickaxe. Rather, this could be a new pickaxe, but what really caught my eye is the new zone and the fish theme and
If you go back over to the Forgotten Kingdom, the design of the Kraken in the background actually kind of fits to this NPC over here. If you come on over here in these boards and all that and you talk to the Fisher, pretty much what he'll do is he'll sit and explain something to you. And there's no information in regards to this. But if you talk to him, he says, the sea's calling me. And he sits and explains all of this information about some magic sea spirit that's controlling these waters that he's pretty much scared of. And this would also fit the theme of having some sea-looking creature boss inside of this area. But obviously, for the most part, these are all just speculations. But that is pretty much it for this video. If this helped you out, make sure to leave a like. And make sure you do subscribe to be inside of my OG 200K. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.